The Galactic Council had long regarded humanity as a peculiar species. Despite their achievements in science, medicine, and space exploration, humans remained oddly attached to what the rest of the galaxy considered outdated weapons. While the advanced civilizations of the stars relied on plasma rifles, molecular disruptors, and gravity blades, humans still manufactured ballistic firearms, swords, and even bows and arrows. To the other species, this was a sign of humanity's backwardness, a relic of their violent past. The day that perception changed would be recorded in galactic history as a turning point. The setting was a contested frontier planet named Raltarin, a rich, unclaimed world where multiple factions were vying for dominance. The Galactic Council had attempted to mediate the conflict, but negotiations collapsed when the Nalcaran Dominion, a notoriously aggressive empire, declared war on all rival claimants. Their fleets darkened the skies of Raltarin, their soldiers equipped with the most advanced armaments known to the galaxy. The humans, present only as neutral observers, watched the chaos unfold with grim expressions. The council representatives mocked their apparent helplessness. "What will you do?" a Lithorian diplomat sneered. "Throw sticks at them?" The human commander, a weathered woman named Colonel Eva Marlowe, gave a faint smile. "We have our ways," she said simply. When the Nalcaran soldiers descended upon a council stronghold, they expected easy victory. Their disruptor fields disabled all high-tech weapons, and their nanite armor was impervious to energy-based attacks. The defenders, relying on advanced plasma weaponry, were quickly overwhelmed. And then the humans intervened. From the surrounding hills, the human soldiers emerged, wielding weapons the galaxy had long dismissed as primitive. Bolt-action rifles, pump-action shotguns, longbows, even flamethrowers. The Nalcarans laughed at the sight, until the first shots were fired. Bullets, traveling faster than sound, tore through disruptor fields as though they didn't exist. Arrows, tipped with tungsten and propelled by sheer kinetic force, punctured nanite armor with ease. Molotov cocktails ignited fields of alien soldiers, their high-tech suits ill-equipped to handle the raw simplicity of fire. The Nalcarans fell into disarray. Their disruptor technology, designed to counter energy-based attacks, was useless against solid projectiles and chemical reactions. For every sophisticated defense they had, humanity's primitive weapons exploited a blind spot. The Galactic Council forces, emboldened by the human example, regrouped and launched a counteroffensive. The humans led the charge, their unorthodox tactics and obsolete arsenal turning the tide of battle. By the time the Nalcarans retreated, the Council's perspective on humanity had shifted dramatically. In the aftermath, the aliens demanded answers. "Why?" a Zoltran ambassador asked, "do you still use such archaic tools? Surely, with your technological capabilities, you could adopt more advanced weaponry." Colonel Marlowe, still cleaning her rifle, shrugged. "Advanced doesn't always mean better. These weapons work because they're simple. No energy fields to disrupt, no complex systems to hack. Just physics. And physics never goes out of style." Her words echoed through the Galactic Council chambers weeks later, as they debated humanity's newfound status as a major power. It wasn't just their weapons that impressed the Council, it was the philosophy behind them. Humanity's refusal to abandon what worked, their ingenuity in turning simplicity into strength, marked them as a species to be respected and feared. Years later, the Nalcaran Dominion signed a non-aggression pact with humanity, the first in their history. And when a new galactic conflict loomed on the horizon, the Council didn't hesitate to call on their human allies. After all, they had learned the hard way. The weapons humanity wielded weren't outdated relics. They were timeless tools, wielded by a species that had mastered the art of adaptation and survival. And in the vast, unpredictable expanse of the galaxy, that made all the difference. The human forces returned to their barracks, the weight of victory heavy on their shoulders but laced with quiet satisfaction. While their weapons were being cleaned, checked, and carefully stored away, whispers filled the Galactic Council chambers. The alien ambassadors, representatives, and military leaders couldn't stop talking about what had unfolded. "It's terrifying," murmured a Trolokian admiral. They didn't even use drones or advanced AI, just physical objects propelled by explosive force. How can something so crude bypass our defenses? A zealot researcher, known for his work in advanced shielding technologies, added his perspective. We design our systems to counter energy-based attacks, to neutralize plasma beams and molecular disintegrators. They're weapons, they work on principles we've ignored for centuries. It's not crude, it's elegant. They've simplified war to its raw essence. Across the galaxy, the fallout of humanity's actions spread like wildfire. Military academies began rethinking their strategies. Research divisions were commissioned to study kinetic-based weaponry, chemical explosives, and incendiary devices, fields abandoned long ago. But no matter how hard they tried, the aliens couldn't replicate the adaptability and ingenuity that seemed ingrained in the human psyche. Meanwhile, on Earth, humanity was grappling with its newfound reputation. It wasn't just about winning a battle or defeating an enemy fleet, it was about what that victory represented. Humans had long been viewed as a younger, scrappy species, ambitious but unrefined, innovative but chaotic. Now, the galaxy knew that chaos wasn't a weakness. It was their strength. Colonel Eva Marlowe found herself addressing the Galactic Council weeks later. The chamber was packed, every species keen to hear from the woman who had orchestrated the human-led counteroffensive. She stood before them, her posture relaxed but her gaze unwavering. "You all want to know why we still use what you call outdated weapons," she began, her voice firm. "It's not because we lack the capability to advance. Trust me, we've built weapons that can annihilate planets, bend space, and rewrite the fabric of reality. But we also know the cost of wielding such power." She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. Humanity has fought countless wars, against ourselves, against nature, against extinction. We learned that complexity breeds vulnerability. The more advanced a weapon is, the more ways it can fail. But a bullet? A blade? Fire? Those are constants. They don't rely on circuits or energy reserves. They just work. And when you're fighting for survival, that's all that matters. The council chamber was silent. Even the Nalcaran delegation, begrudgingly present after their crushing defeat, seemed lost in thought. But it's not just about the tools we use, Marlowe continued. It's about the mindset behind them. Humans are survivors. We adapt. We innovate. And most importantly, we endure. That's why our outdated weapons worked against your cutting-edge defenses. We didn't design them to be superior. We designed them to win. The room erupted into murmurs, the aliens processing what they had just heard. For the first time in galactic history, the term primitive was no longer a dismissal. It was a badge of honor. As Marlowe left the chamber, her aide, Lieutenant Carlos Vega, walked beside her. "Do you think they'll get it?" he asked. "They'll try," Marlowe replied. "But understanding isn't the same as replicating. Let them study our weapons, our tactics. They'll never fully grasp what makes us different." Vega smirked. "And what's that?" Marlowe stopped, her gaze drifting to the stars visible through the council's massive windows. "It's not the weapons, Carlos. It's the will. The will to fight, to survive, to do whatever it takes. That's something you can't teach. It's earned, through struggle, through pain, through history. And no one else in this galaxy has been tested like we have." In the years that followed, humanity's place in the galaxy shifted dramatically. Once considered a minor player, they were now a force to be reckoned with. Alliances were forged, treaties were signed, and even the most powerful empires tread carefully around the so-called primitive species. And while the galaxy adapted to humanity's presence, Earth's leaders made one thing clear. Their weapons weren't just tools of war. They were symbols of a history steeped in perseverance, a reminder that sometimes, simplicity could overcome sophistication. The lesson was clear. It wasn't the technology that defined a warrior. It was the spirit behind it. And in that regard, humanity had no equal. Humanity's rise in the galaxy wasn't an overnight phenomenon. The aftermath of Colonel Marlowe's address to the Galactic Council sent shockwaves through alien civilizations. The concept of primitive was redefined, not as an insult, but as a testament to resilience. And yet, the true consequences of humanity's actions were only beginning to surface. Alien researchers pored over the humans' battle footage, dissecting every aspect of their combat style, weaponry, and strategy. They couldn't comprehend how such straightforward tools caused devastation against defenses designed to withstand the most advanced threats. The truth, they realized, wasn't just in the tools but in the psychology of the species that wielded them. Human adaptability became the talk of every academy. A Galactic University professor summarized it best in a lecture. Humans do not rely on perfection. They rely on adaptability. They design for failure, for contingencies. Their weapons don't require flawless conditions. They thrive in chaos. And that chaos is their natural environment. As humanity's reputation grew, so too did tensions. The Nalkarans, humiliated in their defeat, secretly began preparations for retaliation. They couldn't let the galaxy see them as weak. They analyzed every human weapon, sought to replicate their simplicity, and even attempted to reverse-engineer their tactics. What they didn't account for was that no simulation could prepare them for the sheer unpredictability of human creativity. One fateful day, the Nalkaran Empire launched a surprise attack on a human outpost near the Galactic Rim. It was a calculated move, targeting a lightly defended research station. They expected to overwhelm the humans with sheer numbers, confident their study of human tactics had made them invincible. They were wrong. The outpost, while isolated, was manned by a small contingent of Marines and scientists. When the Nalkaran fleet arrived, their sensors detected no advanced defense systems, no energy shields, and no automated turrets. Just humans. It should have been an easy victory. What followed was a masterclass in human ingenuity. The Marines repurposed mining equipment, rigging explosives from industrial-grade plasma cells. Scientists hacked into the station's communication systems, creating false distress signals that tricked the Nalkarans into splitting their forces. One particularly bold move involved detonating a fuel depot in low orbit, creating a debris field that acted as a makeshift minefield. In the end, the Nalkaran fleet was routed by what they considered a barely civilized species with improvised tools. It wasn't just a defeat, it was a humiliation that echoed across the galaxy. The victory solidified humanity's reputation as the galaxy's wild card. Their refusal to conform to conventional methods, combined with their ability to turn anything into a weapon, made them unpredictable and, therefore, unstoppable. The phrase human ingenuity became synonymous with danger. Years later, at another Galactic Council meeting, an elder representative from a pacifist species approached Colonel Marlowe, who had since become a revered figure in galactic politics. The elder spoke softly, but their words carried the weight of centuries of wisdom. "Your people are a paradox," they said. "You wield chaos with precision, destruction with purpose. But tell me, Colonel, do you fear what your species might become if that chaos is ever unbound?" Marlowe didn't answer immediately. She gazed out at the holographic projection of the Milky Way, its countless stars representing civilizations that had risen and fallen over eons. "Chaos is part of who we are," she said at last. "But it's not all we are. The galaxy sees our weapons, our wars, our victories. What they don't see are the sacrifices, the heartbreak, the relentless drive to build something better. We don't fight because we love war. We fight because we refuse to let anyone take away what we've built. That's what you should remember about humans." The elder nodded, their expression unreadable. "I hope the galaxy never forgets that lesson." In the decades that followed, humanity continued to reshape the galactic order. They weren't conquerors or aggressors, but their presence was felt in every corner of the galaxy. Alliances were forged, new technologies were developed, and even the most warlike species began to rethink their strategies. But through it all, humanity remained true to its nature, resilient, chaotic, and fiercely determined. They didn't seek to dominate the stars, they sought to survive them. And in doing so, they became the one force the galaxy could never truly predict or control. The galaxy could no longer ignore the truth. Humanity was a force that transcended expectations, not because of their power alone, but because of their relentless spirit. News of humanity's repeated victories against the odds spread faster than light. Civilizations that once scoffed at Earthlings began whispering legends of their cunning and adaptability. It wasn't long before humanity became both a symbol of hope and a cautionary tale. Despite their growing reputation, humanity had not forgotten its origins. Back on Earth, Leaders convened with representatives of the Galactic Council to discuss the future. The question was no longer about whether humanity could survive among the stars, but whether it could thrive without losing its essence. Colonel Marlowe, now a celebrated ambassador, stood before a council chamber packed with alien dignitaries. The chamber hummed with tension, as many species still doubted humanity's intentions. "We did not choose this path," Marlowe began, her voice firm but measured. "Circumstances forced us to adapt, to fight, to survive. But understand this, humanity does not seek war. What we seek is peace, not the fragile peace born of fear, but the lasting peace born of understanding." A representative from the Akarathi, a species known for its philosophical outlook, spoke up. "And yet, your actions suggest otherwise. Your victories, while impressive, leave a trail of destruction. How do we trust a species that turns even the simplest tools into weapons?" Marlowe met their gaze unflinchingly. "Trust is not given, it is earned. Humanity has no desire to conquer or dominate. Our victories are not celebrations of violence, but of survival. We fight only when we are left with no other choice." The chamber fell silent. Then, unexpectedly, a Zalvian, a member of a race that had once opposed humanity, rose to speak. "I was there during the Battle of Koris V," they said. "I saw humans sacrifice their own safety to protect alien civilians. They could have let us die, but they didn't. Perhaps their methods are unorthodox, but their actions speak louder than words." The council murmured in agreement. Humanity's allies began to step forward, recounting tales of human bravery, compassion, and ingenuity. Slowly but surely, the perception of humanity shifted from a dangerous anomaly to a necessary ally. As the years passed, humanity's influence grew, not through conquest, but through cooperation. They shared their technology, their culture, and most importantly, their resilience. Alien species began adopting human strategies, not just in warfare but in problem-solving, exploration, and diplomacy. The term human ingenuity became a cornerstone of galactic lexicon. Yet, humanity never became complacent. They knew the galaxy was vast and unpredictable, filled with threats they had yet to encounter. Their focus turned to unity, forging alliances and strengthening bonds with their neighbors. Earth became a hub of intergalactic exchange, its cities bustling with. Earth became a hub of intergalactic exchange, its cities bustling with alien visitors and human pioneers alike. Diplomatic summits hosted on Earth became legendary, bringing together species that had been at odds for centuries. Trade agreements flourished, scientific collaboration reached unprecedented levels, and humanity's unique perspective continued to shape the galaxy's future. But the scars of the past lingered. Humanity never forgot the challenges that had defined their journey into the stars. They maintained their outdated weapons, not out of defiance, but as a reminder of the resilience and ingenuity that had brought them so far. These tools of survival became symbols of hope and caution, displayed in museums alongside captions that read, "When there was no other way, we made one." Meanwhile, deep within the galaxy, whispers of a new threat began to emerge. An ancient race, long believed extinct, was rumored to be stirring. This species, known only as the Venari, had once dominated vast swaths of the galaxy before.